going to call this meeting of the Oskaloosa City Council to order. Today is July 18th, 2016. Let's start with the invocation by Pastor Andrea Brownlee, First Christian Church. You make an entrance.
I try. Will you pray with me? Creator God, we give you thanks for another beautiful day, for this beautiful place we live and all the blessings it provides. We lift our hearts in gratitude this day. We pray that a spirit of compassion and generosity, of wisdom and cooperation, a spirit of creativity and hope will fill each heart here this evening. I ask your blessing on Mayor Creutzfeldt and each council member and all who are present at this meeting this evening. I lift up the residents of Oskaloosa, and I pray that the conversations, discussions, and decisions made here in this place will help strengthen this great community. These things we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Excellent. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Burnett?
Here.
Calgery?
Here.
Jimenez?
Here.
Moore? Here. Versteg?
Here.
Walling?
Here.
Yates?
Okay. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the opportunity for community comments. This item is reserved to receive comments from the community for concerns whether or not they're on the current agenda. The community is encouraged to come and speak before the mayor and city council. We do ask that you keep statements brief, brief being 3 minutes. Any questions that are to be asked of the city staff or the council members or the mayor, we ask that those be asked prior to speaking to the full council, so we can get those concerns properly addressed and researched, maybe even answered away from the meeting. Comments are to be directed to the mayor and council only. Is there anyone who would like to speak at this time?
Yeah, I guess I will.
Okay. Name?
John Carter, and I'm with Remax Pride Real Estate. I think one of our office assistants had put in for a street closure on Saturday. So I was here if you had any questions. That's the only thing I was here for.
Okay. Duly noted. I don't anticipate any questions, but okay. We know you're here.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, moving on. Item 5 is the consent agenda. These are items that are pretty routine in nature. I did want to draw the council's attention to item G. This is the resolution scheduling a public hearing for August 15th for levying a special assessment against private property at 610 North C Street, emergency abatement that was done, and directing notice to the owners of the property that we would be assessing them for the cost. And then also item I, this is the resolution approving a professional services agreement with Triangle 2 Solutions LLC. This is a firm that would do the market analysis, surveying the community for the recreation, early childhood learning, and daycare facility. Do we have a motion for approval? Okay. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Versteg?
Yes.
Walling?
Yes.
Burnett?
Yes.
Calgery?
Yes.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Moving into the regular agenda, item A. First up is a report and presentation by the Iowa Department of Transportation, District 5. My understanding is Jim Armstrong will be here to present at the meeting a report on the DOT projects in the area. I would remind the council that he's here to talk about the projects and to confine the comments and questions to the things that he's informing us about. As I don't know that he's ready for anything out of right field.
John, you can stay, but you were in the consent agenda.
What?
Your topic was in the consent agenda we just passed.
Okay.
So, but you're welcome to stay. I just want to make sure you understood
Don't
that.
have any questions about what we needed? That's
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you for the invitation here from the Iowa Department of Transportation. I'm actually going to have my staff, Jason Huddle, our district planner, present to you. So, if you got any questions after we present or during, we'll both try to answer. So Jason, why don't you take it away?
So I'm Jason Huddle with Iowa DOT. We were asked to come to present to the council kind of an update on projects in the area. We currently are working on 2 studies. One's a Northwest Bypass, the 63 Northwest Bypass, and the other would be the Iowa 92 Southeast Connector study. And we also have 2 construction projects, both east and west of the city. We're doing overlay projects. So I'll provide an update on the construction projects at the end of the update on environmental study. So first, the US 63 Northwest Bypass study. We're further along in the study. We're looking at doing a 2-lane highway on new alignment. Last time we were out presenting to the public, we had 4 alternatives. We have dropped 2 of those that would require a new bridge across the Skunk River. So we have 2 alternatives currently remaining, but we have the alternative 1A is what we're going to carry forward as a recommendation to our regulatory agencies. And I'll show the alignments here in a minute. We're looking at a new interchange at Highway 163, and then a regular intersection at US 63. So the 2 alternatives that I was just mentioning, first alternative 1A, starting at Highway 63 up to the north, heading south, and then tying into 235th. And that's the alternative that's the preferred alternative that we're recommending to the regulatory agencies. And we're hoping to have a public hearing early next year where we will have a formal presentation to the public here in the city of Oskaloosa. And then alternative 4 would tie into Jewel Avenue. And it's relatively the same alignment come up to Highway 163. That's currently where we are with the US 63 Northwest Bypass. I don't know if you want to hold questions to the end.
Well, I'll open it up to the council. One that entered my mind is the timelines on these things. That if we have a preferred plan, then once that recommendation gets made, how fast do things go from there?
Well, I think the most notable thing is that we would conclude our study, and we're anticipating to conclude that in the spring of 2017. So where that brings us is that we have a preferred alternative, and it will be cleared with all the federal agencies, the state agencies, to be able to actually proceed if we program a project to final design. So the opportunity is going to start next spring for the opportunity to program it, or our 5-year program, if the commission so desires, to proceed to final design so that we can acquire right of way and actually construct the route.
Okay.
So, and actually, that we're doing it pretty well. It seems like yesterday we started this study, but really it's been, I think, June of 2013.
Man.
So we're doing fairly well, because I'm still in a process with studies where I started 5 years ago. We're in Des Moines and Louisa counties with US 61. So the community should be proud of the progress that actually DOT has been able to make on this project.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions so far? Okay.
And then the second environmental study just kicked off, came out to the public, I believe, early May. We brought four kind of ideas. So we want to get some ideas from the public, to get some thoughts. Basically, a conversation starter. That was the point of that new alignment with the interchange at 163. We're looking to either modify or close the existing interchange south of town. And then we'd have an intersection at Highway 92. We do have alternatives now, and based on public comment from our meeting in May, the locals wanted to see Osborne Avenue looked at a little closer. So we added that alternative in there. And right now, we're out getting permission to access property owners' property to collect the necessary data to do these studies. Alternative one would be a new interchange just north of the existing interchange. We would close this interchange because of the proximity, it'd be too close to the new. Come along just north of the gravel road, angle, and then back up to Highway 92. And then alternative 2 is fairly similar to alternative 1. So there's alternative 2 and there's alternative 1. So the major changes are just where it ties in just to the west of the new interchange and up near Highway 92. The intersections with county roads, gravel roads have not been looked at this point. These are just alternatives, basically in line on a piece of paper. And then alternative 3 would be new interchange just south of the existing, a little longer route, tying back into Highway 92. And alternative 4 would be modify the existing interchange and then angle back up towards Highway 92. And then alternative 5 is the new one that, based on public comment, we're looking at coming up Osborne and then new interchange. All these might tweak a little bit throughout the process. As you can see on the northwest bypass, we had an alternative 1, and now we have a 1A, based on when we get through the process and find things and need to modify. So it's a work in progress. The schedule for the southeast connector. May we had the public meeting, and then we'll look to come back out to the public and have another public meeting, probably about the time when we have the public hearing for US 63. So we'll have 2 separate meetings. And then as late 2017, we will look to have a public hearing where we formally present the preferred alternative to the locals on the preferred alternative for the southeast connector. So right now, again, we're just actively trying to get access to properties to collect the data at this point. And once we can collect the data, we'll move throughout the process.
Any questions on this one from the council? I was curious if you could go back to the map, alternative 1 and alternative 2, that there wasn't a lot of difference between the two. That curve coming off of 92 to the east, is there a reason for that? Is it because we want to get into a straight line going north and south at some point, or is there an advantage? I guess I just don't know enough about road construction, and I think I got an opportunity to learn something.
Between the two, one is diagonal, one is more, try to get more along property lines, maybe.
Okay.
Again, they're subject to change.
Yep.
Based on as we get through the process, but.
Right, most notable is the design criteria that you have to use for your curves and your, what you're trying to miss and what you're trying to avoid.
Okay.
And we try to get a couple options in there so that we have more flexibility as we go on and we study the environment, we study the impacts and those kind of things. We're able to decide, mixing in that design criteria, which is the best alignment.
Okay.
So I would add one strong thing to this. This is a byproduct off of our northwest bypass. It's not typical to be doing two studies in the same community. So I think the strong relationship between the city of Oskaloosa, Mahaska County, and the US 63 Coalition has gotten us here, and that's a good thing. I think we continue that, our opportunities to actually construct roadways are going to be very real. So keep in mind, we've kind of shown a 3-year schedule here, but if you go back to where we're at with our northwest bypass, things can change. If we add to the study or if we find things, then, and you can probably ask Beth here, that 6 months can be added pretty quickly, a year could be added pretty quickly. But so far, so good. I think we're staying on our timelines and expect a good result.
Great.
Very good.
Will you have to choose between the two projects? I mean, I know money's, you don't never know about the money, but, I mean, it looks like they're a year apart.
Well, I'd say they're 3 years apart.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to complete our northwest bypass study here next.
So you're pretty confident that will be first?
So the first opportunity would be in the next 5-year program.
Okay.
That's kind of soon, but that could be a real opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And then just to provide a quick update on our construction project, east and west of town. I'll start with the project west of town. So it approximately starts about near the Highway 163 interchange and goes about 7 miles to the west. The project's going to include 4-foot paved shoulders and rumble strips, and it's an asphalt overlay. And the project was awarded to Norris Asphalt for just over $3 million. It's moving a little quicker than the one to the east, so it'll be fully completed early fall. And then currently to the east of Oskaloosa, the road Highway 90 is currently closed. It will remain closed until early August. Everything's on schedule, even with the recent rain, so things are still moving along. Detours through Rose Hill, using Highway 163 and county roads. That project won't be completed until later in the fall. And that'll include new rumble strips, 4-foot paved shoulders, new guardrail, and that was a $6.4 million toward the cost for that project in Norris Asphalt. And here's a picture of the detours. I don't know if you have any questions on those two projects.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing them.
Yeah.
Real rough road, especially the west side.
But getting them both done before winter, that's a nice touch
Yeah.
too. So congratulations on that. We don't always get our street projects done before winter hits, and so we've got a lot of respect for that.
Certainly do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And with that, here's a picture of the detour for the 92 closure, but I don't have any further updates to provide to the council.
Council members?
No.
Okay. Well, you've heard it a couple of times, but we thank you very much for the work you're doing around the community. That the bypasses in particular are of a great interest to myself. That one of the things we're trying to do is improve our downtown, and if we can I think the trucks aren't particularly happy to drive through the center of downtown where there's a lot of people, and I think our citizens would appreciate the opportunities for them to be able to steer around the city as well. And so this solves some great problems for us, and so thank you very much for your cooperation and help.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for the invitation. We
Yeah.
appreciate that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Item B is to consider a resolution approving an amendment to the professional services agreement with Garden & Associates. This is for work associated with the sanitary sewer system inflow and infiltration evaluation and implementation plan. You may remember that the Iowa DNR issued a notice of violation to the city of Oskaloosa dated September 29 of 2014 for bypassing the sanitary sewer system caused by excessive inflow and infiltration, also known as I&I. So from now on, we'll use that acronym and expect you to know what it means. Inflow and infiltration is terms that are used to describe groundwater and stormwater that enters a dedicated sanitary sewer collection system. And on October 20 of 2014, the City Council approved an agreement with Garden & Associates in the amount of $107,700 for providing a sanitary sewer system inflow and infiltration evaluation and implementation plan. This is an amendment from Garden & Associates for additional work required to complete the I&I study. The original estimate was based on inspecting 900 manholes, whereas there are actually a total of 1,200 manholes. This results in additional time and manhole inspection and smoke testing activities. Proposed amendment to the original agreement increases the total cost of design services from $107,700 to $124,200. Staff is recommending approval. Do we have a motion supporting that?
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Burnett,
Were we gonna have the gentleman here from Garden Associates say something?
He's still here.
It's okay, I suppose after the vote. Okay, all right, okay, yes.
Caligari,
Yes.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Versteg.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Jack?
I think I was last here in September. At that time, we had completed the manhole inspections of the system, or close to completing the manhole inspections. Shortly after that, we commenced with the smoke testing of the sanitary sewer system. That was completed in late October of 2015. The results of that study, we identified 65 intakes that had smoke coming out of them, which indicates some kind of connection to the sanitary sewer. We had 40 main leaks that showed up over top of the existing sanitary sewer, 80 service lines that were leaking, 8 buildings with direct downspouts connected to the sewer, which it's that inflow and infiltration adds up quite quickly on those kind of connections. We had 11 homes where we identified possible foot and drain connections, and then 50 residences where we they had cleanouts on their sanitary sewer system line that were either broken or misplaced and not there, allowing inflow to get into the sanitary sewer. Currently, we're at the point where the next step in this process, based on those items identified during smoke testing, is to do flood and dye testing in conjunction with the sanitary sewer department, which means we place dye into the storm sewer and then televise the sanitary sewer concurrently with that. We have 6 primary areas where we want to concentrate those efforts. And as soon as that's done, we would look towards completing the report, which I'm going to say at this point, we're probably 75% done with our cost estimates, and would complete that prior to the end of the year. I included in your packet, I believe 34 projects we've identified to date with a construction cost of close to $4 million. $2.5 million of that we've identified as a priority 1, which is the worst of the worst, I guess. And then once we have the rest of this flood and dye testing done, those numbers will increase a little bit as we identify those projects in the future.
And Mayor, Council, I might add, the current sewer rate plan that's been adopted does not account for that additional $4 million of anticipated projects.
Perfect.
So,
I'm sure there's a grant out there somewhere, right?
any further questions for Mr. Pope? Boy, that sure ends on a downer.
Should have done the cost first. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Gets us to item C. This is consider a resolution approving the vacation and sale of an unused section of public right-of-way that's lying between 1002 Southeast Street and 602 9th Avenue West. This will be a public hearing. And what we're talking about, Steve Hoeksema, as conservator for Alyssa Williams, whose conservatorship owns the property that's located at 1002 Southeast Street, has requested that the unused public right-of-way adjacent to this property be vacated. Mr. Hoeksema is also requesting that the street vacation application fee be waived and that the conservatorship be allowed to purchase the right-of-way for $1 plus recording and transfer costs. The right-of-way vacation request is 6,660 square foot in area, and it's zoned as R2, which is urban family residential. Gary Mitchell, the owner of the property adjacent to this right-of-way vacation request at 602 9th Avenue West, expressed that if the right-of-way is vacated, he would like to purchase his half at the price requested by Mr. Hoeksema. If vacation and sale are approved, the area will be divided as shown on the attached location map. Vacation of this public right-of-way will not limit access to other properties. However, easement rights need to be retained for the sanitary sewer main, the gas main, and the overhead electric lines that exist within this public right-of-way. So it went to Planning and Zoning Commission at their July 6, 2016 meeting. They voted 5 yes to 0 no, recommending approval of the vacation and sale of the above-mentioned unused section of public right-of-way as presented. So now is the time for interested persons to express their opinions concerning the vacation and sale of the unused section of public right-of-way that lies between 1002 Southeast Street and 602 9th Avenue West. I'll open the public hearing at this time if anyone would care to speak. Okay. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion supporting the resolution for vacation and sale of the unused section of public right-of-way? Okay. Any discussion?
Why is that right away there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe they felt they were going to put
I
a
would
street through
assume,
there.
Tom, without knowing, I would assume it's simply because of the old railroad right-of-way when the streets are platted there. And from looking at it, when I've been by there, it does not look to me like the street's ever actually been laid out
Yeah.
there. But
Mayor and Council, the question I have is, does the resolution support the
monitor.
purchase for $1 or
Yeah.
for the current fee schedule? That's the only question.
Okay. Well, and I guess, I don't know if there's, we don't have anybody here from P&Z, but how was the dollar arrived at for
That was
the,
a request from the applicant.
okay,
And again, I think what was being used is based on recent actions from council where we've had some parcels that were being taken care of by property owners.
mhm,
We said, hey, it has no value to us. Yes, our fee schedule says this, well, the code says this. However, they've been maintaining it for years, therefore,
mhm.
it was given at a reduced rate.
Who maintains this now? They do.
They do.
And I would agree with that because they certainly have some monetary value in that themselves now by maintaining it and mowing it and taking care of it and stuff. So I would agree with the $1 sale.
Yeah.
Okay. For property tax purposes, would it then be assessed at that same rate, or would it be more market value?
you know, I'm not sure, quite frankly, what the assessor looks at with it. I mean, I think they do factor in purchase price, but here, obviously, it's a situation where the city's waiving it. I mean, it's not like we're otherwise saying, yeah, we think this ground really is only worth $1.
Mhm.
I don't know the answer to that question completely.
Well, I don't have the problem with the $1, I don't think, because it's not doing anything, but I guess I was surprised with that answer. I thought the taxes would be for the square foot of land.
I would assume that would be, and now, once again, generally, we'll look to a purchase price paid, but here, once again, I don't think that's really indicative of value.
Well, once this goes through, that the property to be added to the current property, so.
Yes.
So then, and now we're going to set.
Yeah, go up.
Okay.
We just did this not too long ago, but does anybody remember? Was it for $1 or $2? Yeah, thumbs up. It was in your ward, wasn't it, Aaron?
I think it was, and I think it was $1.
Yeah.
However, in those instances, I think they pay the recording fees and the application fee, if I remember correctly.
For that one?
For those. the ones
Right,
that
which
were-
is how this is written up too.
This is written out too. They paid that.
I don't think they paid the application fee on that case too.
On six,
Just the
okay.
recording.
Totally.
Okay. Okay, so we've got a motion and a second for $1. I thought I heard voices saying that they could support the $1, so I'm not seeing interest of changing that figure. Roll call, please.
Burnett?
Yes.
Calgery?
Yes.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Moore? Yes. Versteg?
Yes.
Walling?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item D, this is to consider a resolution levying a special assessment against private property for cleanup of a property that was located at 805 South B Street, still is, by the city of Oskaloosa, in accordance with section 8.08.080, City Code of Oskaloosa. And it's a public hearing that we're going to do here first. It's the time for the public hearing on levying the special assessment. Property owned by Rilla Bartlow, 805 South B Street, for city cleanup of the property. Certified notice of the hearing was sent to the property owner. Notice of the hearing was published in the Oskaloosa Herald prior to the public hearing date. And so I'll open the public hearing at this time. I believe the amount that we're searching or trying to get to is $291. Is there anyone who cares to speak to this? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion of support for doing the special assessment?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? We've had a set of pictures that was passed out by our fire chief prior to the meeting that give us the black and whites that gives a much more extensive view of the cleanup that was done.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, 291 seems cheap for the work to be done.
Yeah.
Okay. Hearing no additional comments, we've got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Calgery?
Yes.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Versteg?
Yes.
Walling?
Yes.
Burnett?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item E, this is to consider an ordinance to change the parking restrictions along C Avenue East from North 11th Street to South Park Avenue. This is the third reading. So you go through the whole story here. At their meeting on March 21 of 2016, City Council directed staff to perform a study regarding on-street parking restrictions along C Avenue East from North 11th Street to Park Avenue. Currently, a no parking zone exists on the south side of C Avenue East from North 11th Street to 400 feet west of South Park Avenue. The main concern was the visibility of vehicles exiting the hospital driveways due to the parked cars along the north side of C Avenue East. The section of C Avenue East is 31 feet in width. That allows for parking on one side of the street but not both sides. In addition, current city codes restrict parking only 10 feet either side of a driveway or intersection approaches, which is not adequate for the visibility of exiting hospital vehicles. In order to alleviate the visibility concerns for the exiting hospital traffic along the north side of C Avenue East, staff has recommended to restrict parking on the north side only, which is considered option 1. This option will keep one side of the street available for on-street parking to accommodate the residents living on the south side of C Avenue East. Staff also recommends that parking should be restricted 50 feet on each side of the intersection of North 11th Street for the visibility of waiting vehicles at a two-way stop. There were 7 crashes in the last 5 years on C Avenue East between 11th Street and Park Avenue, with 6 of those crashes at the intersection of C Avenue East and 11th Street, 1 crash at the mid-block section of this road segment. The crash at the mid-block segment was a sideswiped type of crash due to an improper turn by one of the motorists. Site visibility was not a contributing factor. Although not a part of the traffic engineering analysis for parking studies, the survey responses from property owners are attached separately. Planning and Zoning at their meeting on May 9th voted 6 yes to 1 no in favor of a different option, option 2, restricting parking 50 feet on both sides of the easternmost driveway approaches to the hospital, leaving the parking restriction along the south side of C Avenue East the way it is. They also recommended parking restriction 50 feet east and west of North 11th Street on the north side of C Avenue East for a two-way stop visibility. And so the attached figures 1.1-3 depicts the details of the current parking restrictions and each recommended option. At the June 20th, 2016 and at the July 5th, 2016 City Council meetings, City Council approved the ordinance pertaining to option 2, and that is also in here. So do we have a motion supporting this third and final reading of the ordinance changing the parking restrictions per option 2?
So moved. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Persig?
Yes.
Walling?
Yes.
Burnett?
Yes.
Calgery?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Takes us to item F. Considering a resolution amending the Oskaloosa Municipal Code, Chapter 12.08. This adds special section 12.08.110 relating to the requirements for temporary closure of streets for special events. This is a second reading. Presently, temporary closure of streets for special events requires City Council approval. Staff is requesting an amendment to the Oskaloosa Municipal Code granting authority to the city manager or his or her designee to close public streets for short temporary periods not exceeding 24 hours for special events without the necessity of obtaining formal City Council approval. Staff is recommending approval of the second reading. Do we have support for that?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Moore?
Yes.
Persig?
Yes.
Walling?
Yes.
Burnett?
Yes.
Calgery?
Yes.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. It gets us to the end of the regular agenda. Opportunity for reports from city staff, city manager, or anything.
Mayor and Council, I just make a note that the elevator is still out of service here at City Hall. And so August, we are planning on having meetings at the library and the third floor unless a repair is made beforehand. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay. Probably begs the question, what kind of a timeline are we on for elevator repairs?
It's a matter of getting on their schedule. It's a 40-hour repair, is how they've estimated it. So at least a week.
40 hours.
So do we know what's broke?
Hydraulic failure.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Quite
okay.
extensive. It was estimated at roughly $37,000 of repair work.
Sheesh. Okay. City clerk, anything?
No, sir, thank you.
City attorney, anything?
I'm not gonna say it.
Do you bring any good news anymore?
Sure, you gotta talk about the events down there.
4 million.
You can name it.
Yeah.
I would have nothing.
Okay. City council members, Mr. Burnett, anything?
Yeah, speaking of the good news, that's what I want to use my time for real quick. We have the third, it's amazing what is going on in Oskaloosa right now. Thursday night, of course, we have the band, and I was there Thursday night. It was nice to hear. Saturday, the Main Street organization had Christmas in July. They lit up the square at night. They had a band down there. There were tons of kids playing around, lots of activities. So kudos to that organization for making that happen. Also Saturday, something of significance is like the alley opened up. So the group called the Alley Cats, the ladies that did that. Congrats to them for taking their time and efforts to do that. And then last but not least, I'm going to give a kudos to Carol Kelderman and her efforts to reinvigorate the Lake Keoma Beach area. I was out there the other day, and they got some paddle boats going. They've opened the boathouse, and just I know she spent an awful lot of time on that, and so kudos to her for that. So.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Don?
No, sir.
Okay.
Nothing, sir.
No, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to kudos or extend my congratulations as well as to everything that Steve mentioned there. That the Christmas in July thing was very good. We've heard over and over again how important it is to keep the downtown busy. And so what you're seeing is a genuine effort by the part of the chamber to make the downtown busy. So between the band concerts, the Christmas in July, we'll be doing Celebrate Oskaloosa coming up on this coming Saturday. And then I think the Thursday after that, then comes the Sweet Corn Serenade that's coupled with the band concerts. And so the this is when things are starting to get kind of exciting. And so I want to thank all the people who are in leadership making these events happen, and also the folks that are showing up to encourage them. So the more family events, the more people that come up, this thing develops momentum on its own. And so from my perspective as mayor, it's a tremendous help to see the community become this vibrant, and we sure want to encourage keeping that going. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
It was busy up there Saturday.
I'll give you a
Yes,
call.
it was.
All day Saturday.
I didn't go there.